Good morning, sisters. I'm here just to take a look at the book of Esther because it's a topic that we have studied um, over and over again. We've studied it profusely many times. We've looked at this book, and for those who haven't actually studied it like we have, they really seem to have absolutely no understanding what Esther is about. And it was supposed to be a book that taught women why God went silent. And it was the silencing of God, is really what it means. Because we recognize that God upon this earth were the wise women in the nation of Israel. Well, when we looked at Lamentations 4:1, we found them murdering the precious stones, which are female. 68 is the number. We've looked at this on Ruth Abbey. But there's this idea that the signs that's appearing in the heavens, there's many men going, oh, it's a story about Esther. And, they just love the idea of Esther because she kissed the backside of a king. And these men just love that notion. But what we realize is that's exactly what was the intent, to cause womankind to bow to this male idol, this idea of a male god. So I just wrote a quick comment under here. I'm slowly getting over my cold. I have other things lately that I've had to do, so I haven't been in studying this. But I happen, when I'm scrolling through the videos on YouTube, I'll come across various channels that are preaching Esther as the end time sign. Well, it's supposed to be a warning sign. It's not this great sign, oh, you women so righteously bow to this male idol of Jesus and, good on your head. No, it's a warning to you. So this is basically, when you study it and really study it, and these men obviously don't care to study the truth because they want it flapping in the wind. They want their lie whipping and bellowing in the wind. They just love themselves. The truth they do not love, and it is not found in them. Nowhere is it found in them. So this is what I wrote under my last video. And I know I look hideous in my last video. I knew that when I made it. I've never let my looks, and I have no sense of, don't I look good, or I have none of that. All right, I know I'm never going to look good in my videos. And if I let that stop me, then I would have never made a video. So for me, it come down to the truth, and the women mattering enough to me, like myself, that these women should have some sense of self-worth, which the men off of the pulpit never give you. They are never going to give it to you. The only way they're going to give you a sense of self-worth is just like they give you through the book of Esther when they don't study, is that she was a good little girl taught by a righteous son how to bow to a mere mortal male king. It tells you the whole summary of the pride of man in this story and exactly the fall that took place in the very beginning. The same thing. Adam, the accuser, Satan, Beelzebub, in his pride, accusing the first woman so he could take charge of the law. The law was not to be found off of his tongue. It was so to be found off of the daughter's tongue. It was called the gently flowing waters of Shiloh. We examined this over and repeatedly through Ruth Abbey and Shiloh, the scepter that was rejected in the very beginning for, I forget what it's called, for Remaliah. I can't remember that exact verse where the gently flowing waters of Shiloh, and she was rejected for this king is what she was rejected for. And God said, well, you didn't want me, and you didn't. We see the rejection over here. You wanted a king, so you could kiss his backside, so the boys could get worshipped, and they have. Look at them. They'll go to their channels, and even if a woman just puts up a channel going, Jesus told me this, they'll get like 2,000 hits. The odd one won't if she's not looking just right. But as long as they look half decent and they're fairly young and pretty, oh my gosh, you'll get a few thousand hits at least, But if you're somebody who really works and really are driving at the truth and you're really digging for that truth, and I do see the odd one out there, you ain't going to get very many hits. And that is the promise from the true living God. If you are of me, and you are speaking my truth, this world don't want anything to do with you. They don't. They want you preaching the man-made lie and the man-made, and that is the only way that you're going to find this sense of acceptance, but never love. You will never be loved. No, no, not in this world full of hate. So this is what I wrote. The true story behind the book of Esther for those who don't bother to study it. So I'll just read this and then we'll be done, okay? We have studied the book of Esther profusely, and why there are those men who were ordained of old, we get that in the New Testament, who were designed to come in and okay, I'm already going to fetch myself up. I should have looked that verse up before I even come on here. And that's in the New Testament. It should take us, that's it. Jude 1:4. For certain men have crept in among you unnoticed. And it does so take us back to the women that they're creeping into, right? Ungodly ones who were designated long ago for this condemnation. They turn the grace of the true God into a license for immorality, and they deny our only Master and Lord. And they got Jesus Christ. We know Jesus Christ is the idol and the feet, and they denied Mother Wisdom. That's who they truly denied, our mother. And she's also the creator that turned her face from us. When the women were slowly being taught this lie, as in Esther, and were slowly being forced to their knees to bow to man, the power of their God is in their arm. It's not in their heart. It's not in their mind. These are men who were ordained long ago. They got too much pride, just like this king in the book of Esther. But we also understand that these same men creeped into women's houses, right? Who were full of, I forget. You see, we'll pull that up right quick because I thought this would pull it up along. And this is what they're doing today. It's no different today. 2 Timothy. For these are those who creep into houses and take captive gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts. See, this is the harlot's romance. Oh, he loves me so much. He died for my sins. Oh. And her sin is the lust after that idol of man as God. That's her sin. And in Lamentations 2, it gets, these men could not tell you the truth. They were leading you astray with false prophecies, and they're doing it yet today. And you have not awakened from sleep. I'll find this right quick. Sorry. Lamentations 2. Okay, it's not hitting on it. Okay, there we go. Lamentations 2. And it's down here, verse... I know it's down in the teens anyway. Right here. So she says, what thing shall I take to witness for thee? What thing shall I liken thee, O daughter of Jerusalem? What shall I equal to thee, that I may comfort thee, O virgin daughter of Zion? For thy breach is great, like the sea. Who can heal thee? So the breach was the lie that we found to do with the key of David, right? She said, they pour upon me wave upon wave. Well, that was the harlot spirit, really an allegory that we realize that King Solomon was taking these women in covenant, and he had 700 wives, 200 concubines. If there's a real harlot here, it was man himself who played the real harlot. So what does it say? Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. And they have not discovered your iniquity to turn away your captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of your banishment. The causes of your banishment is turning away from the mother's truth and law to husband's lie and kissing his backside as if he's Lord and God and Father. And what do they say? What does these men say? This is what it's all about, their own pride. Father and son, oh glory, but screw you, mother and daughter. And the reason why you're in captivity is because you're bowing to their lies of man. And you have not picked yourself up from the ground. You have not come away from the lie. You have not opened your ears. You have not opened your eyes. You're not listening for the truth. You've become hard-hearted, just like that prick that is hard to kick against. We did a video on that years ago. Why is it so hard to kick against the prick? And we allegorized the prick there as the man's penis, because that's exactly what it comes back to. Is it so hard to kick against that? Not really. Not really. It's not. You kick it and he goes down. But we're going to be ladylike, and we're going to smash the toes on the feet of the idol, and we're going to bring it down out of the land. So the book of Esther and the sign of Esther, as these wicked sons are trying to say, it's about her being a godly little woman and realizing that man is her head because we're geniuses. She's too dumb to know anything. And they are. The harlot spirit really is too dumb to know anything. She doesn't realize the things that Vashti realized, that she was worthy of respect. That's right. So we have studied the book of Esther profusely, and why there are those men who were ordained of old, we see them, who wants to mock the truth. She is likely template for the end game, as so many like to say, and they have said this over the years. How a king removed the most excellent woman, Vashti, or as they stated in Abraham publications, to a Hebrew audience, the name Vashti may have sounded like when drinking. That's what you will get, you wicked king. So again, this takes us back to what the priests who thought they were kings were doing in Isaiah 28, and they were what? Getting drunk on wine, and they were spewing vomit all over the tables. And once we realized what the word vomit meant, it takes us right back to Baal, the word Baal again, which means husband, bridegroom, Lord of master, and also Lord of dung. And so what it meant there, the vomit meant the filth. And that word also took us to the filth in Isaiah 4:4. I will wash the filth and the blood off of my daughters when they come to my waters freely in Isaiah 55 and receive the truth instead of the lie from husband's tongue, who thinks he's Lord and God and is not and never was. A father does not create life. He don't carry it. He doesn't form it. She does. He does not. And he removed her position as if that was her role. And he took it upon himself. Why now do I see every man standing around with his hands on his hips as if he can give life when he does not? You know what he did? He crapped it out of his backside and said it was God, said he was God and could shape it. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but I'm so sick of these men who claim to study the word and can't be bothered to study anything. So, what does it say? To a Hebrew audience, the name Vashti may have sounded like when drinking. That's what you get. Drunk on what? His own sense of power, which is the wine in the admixture of lies in the cup, which is the Red Sea allegory, that the true presence of God, the daughter of Zion, must part and birth her children out of the land of idolatry, which is what they're currently in, which is exactly where the idol of Baal, husband, bridegroom, Lord, and master, the solar calf deity, okay, we're going to get into it, all means the same thing, husband, and that's what's standing in Daniel 2, a male idol. He removed her, this king in Esther, because he was drunk and got mad because, in his mere opinion, she wasn't entitled to her own sense of self-worth like all males are. When then we see Mordecai, whose name means follower of Marduk, which is another name for the solar calf idol, which then over the following couple hundreds of years, which yes would be in Mordecai's time, came to be called Baal. Then we see Mordecai bringing this little girl. After all, her mother, who would have taught her a sense of self and self-respect and an entitlement to it, yes, just like all males have, had been murdered by the males so they could take control of the next generation of little girls. And teaching her, Mordecai taught her how to bow to a mere mortal male who called himself a king and thought himself entitled to it. That's all males today. Watch them. Then we see this great, perfect male king thinking he had a right to make a law over all womankind because that is what it became in the end. Yeah. We find this verse in Esther 1:20. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. Yes. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor both to great and small. Tell me this law is not made due to the pride of Adam, due to a man who could not except the fact that she had a sense of self-worth that would put him in the place when he was drunk on his own sense of power. And that's exactly what the Bible keeps telling you in the Old Testament. You want the truth of the sign of Esther? This is it. But whatever you do, boys, we know you have no wisdom or sense of reasoning. We know you have none. You are the kind that are ordained from old to die in wrath. Your kind, because you refuse to reason. You have too much pride. So here we have this king who thought he had the right to make laws. It was never found with males, ever. It was to be on the wise women's tongue, who we find the men murdering these precious stones, that's right, in Lamentations 4:1, to which we see the men then becoming, or the sons becoming nothing more than the value of clay pots. They're worthless to mother. You're worthless. Expecting women to bow to you, you are worthless. So, and when the king's decree is published throughout the land, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small. The word for husband here is Baal, Strong's Hebrew 1167, which is the same as Baal 1168. And it means Baal, owner, Lord. Except he alone made himself owner, a Lord, and Lord, when they chose to murder the wise women where the law of heaven was to come from. Now, we've understood that through hard study, which we recognize that no idol worshiper wants to do. They don't want to do hard study. They just want to say, get us off planet Earth, Jesus. That's all they want to say. Do you not see the entire story bound up in the book of Esther for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear? This was a proud man who was angered by a woman who rightly deserved to be treated with respect and then demanded it. And what did this mere mortal male do out of spite for his wicked drunken pride? He forced every female to bow to this idol of Baal. Husband, bridegroom, and Lord. Oh, he thinks himself master. He's not. You will all get what you rightly deserved and deserve. Judgment by the wrath of the Almighty God, who has watched everything that your male pride has done. Yeah. And that's what we're to witness to, girls. We are the witnesses in the land. They don't want to hear it. But it is the simple truth for those of us who have spent years in hard study, that these trivial videos that these males and women will put out and just go, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Oh, it's so easy. I could make dozens of those in a week. In a week. And I know all the right things to say. I could lie my backside off. But that's not what I was made for, apparently. I was made to go in and do the hard study and to be a witness to the truth, so that when the overflowing scourge comes in to cut the wicked away, that she will be able to testify to the truth and what is wrong with this world and why it is not founded on love, but why it is founded upon hate, and it's founded upon man's hate and pride. It's that simple. So there's a video. I know I said some things, but it's coming to the point where I just see so much perversion of the truth of God. You know, to the harlots, God says to the harlot spirit in the land, who's called Babylon, and Baal himself, husband, bride, who thinks he's king of this, you know, thinks he's going to birth the children out. Why now do I see every man standing around like he gives life? But every face will be turned pale in the end, because they're going to witness the lie that's on their tongue, right? And it's just not going to fulfill itself. Wrath is going to come upon their heads. And they're going to go, but why? But why? Because they refuse to know the truth. Anyway, but, you know, the fact is we do have to establish the truth. We are in the end. And I forget what I was winding up for there. So, sorry that I have to speak the way that I speak, but I am designed to witness, I think, so that when the overflowing scourge comes in, that the witness will stand in truth. Your eyes are bearing witness to that truth. She tells us that the more we study it in the Old Testament, the more we recognize it and know it to be true. If you think God made womankind to be less and to submit to a male's head, who all he has in here is a harlot spirit exalted, and you can see that, and that's the founding of this world. That's what it's founded upon. Yeah. And so that's it. That's the witnessing. Yeah. I'm a witness, and I know that. I'm the witness to the truth. And they can mock me. I've seen them mock me from day one, the things I've said. These men who come on and says, oh, there's a salad mixture of words going on. Oh my gosh, I've seen that several times too. I don't watch these videos. If there was a salad of lies, it was called the Bible. And we established the fact that they add it and add it and add it to it and murdered the wise women where the law of God was to come from. They don't want that truth. That's fine. You know, they'll bring it down upon their own heads. They will. That's a promise God makes. Oh, they may be happy for a time. Yeah, God says they will. Because even David was perplexed over how come all good things seem to happen to them and all bad things to me, you know? God says, don't worry. In due time, it'll all come back on their heads, I promise you. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope the Lord blesses you all with an abundance of truth. I hope you all have a lovely day. And thanks for watching.